My mother didn't look back when she walked out the door. She stood in the entryway with her suitcase in one hand and a crumpled $20 bill in the other. I was 11, standing there in my socks, waiting for a hug that never came. "You're independent now, Ava," she said, pressing the money into my palm with a bright, fake smile, like she was handing me a prize instead of abandoning me for a month. The door clicked shut. That click was the loudest thing I had ever heard. "I'm Ava. I'm 11. I stood in the hallway a long time waiting for her to come back. She didn't. I had a $20 bill and a prepaid emergency card she said was for necessities. The house was huge, white, sterile. The kind of place where I always tried to make myself small so I wouldn't mess up the view. By evening, hunger set in. I opened the fridge. Wine, olives, slimy spinach, almond milk. Nothing else. I called for pizza and read the man my emergency card numbers. "Cards declined," he said. "Not activated." She'd left me with a useless piece of plastic and an empty house. The pantry held whole wheat bread and a box of cardboard flake cereal. I ate it dry, afraid to use the toaster. That night I locked my bedroom door for the first time in my life and lay listening to the house creak like footsteps, telling myself over and over that I was fine. By day 2, I was lying to my neighbor and to my friend Maya at lunch, telling them my aunt was staying with me, that I'd already eaten. I drank water from the fountain until my stomach felt full enough to stop shaking. By day 5, the dizziness started. The floating kind. Black spots, pale fingers, blue nails. I counted the bread. 14 slices for 30 days. The math didn't work no matter how I sliced it. That day I found one of my dad's unused notebooks and wrote "evidence" across the top. Then started logging everything. What I ate, how I felt, where my parents were. I filmed myself too, gray-faced, whispering into the camera that I was scared, that I didn't think I could do this for a month. I didn't send it to anyone. When Maya texted inviting me to a movie, I lied again, fancy dinner with my aunt, because my mother's voice in my head said, "Don't be a burden, don't air our dirty laundry." That night, a knock at the door at 8 p.m. terrified me, until I recognized the voice. Mr. Hughes, my school guidance counselor, checking on me after 2 absences. I almost didn't open it. Then a sharp cramp hit my stomach, and a thought cut through everything else. I don't want to die. I undid the chain. He stepped inside, saw my pale face, asked where the adults were. I cried before I even meant to. "No," I admitted. He walked into the kitchen, opened the empty fridge, found the nearly empty bread bag, and his face went red. "This is not independence," he said. "This is neglect." He called for help and ordered me pizza. I handed him my notebook. He read it, eyes wet, and told me I was brave. Mrs. Johnson from next door arrived in her bathrobe, horrified to learn there was no aunt, that I'd been alone 5 days with no food. She held me while I cried out of relief instead of fear. A CPS caseworker, Miss Ramirez, arrived soon after, photographing the empty fridge, the unactivated card, the crumpled $20, building a case, click by click. When she asked where I felt safe, I chose Mrs. Johnson, who immediately volunteered to take me in. That night my mother called from Paris. She didn't ask if I was okay. She asked why the police were calling her cell phone and embarrassing her. When I said I'd had no food, she snapped that I was being dramatic, that I should have waited. Mrs. Johnson grabbed the phone from my hand and told her flatly that her daughter had been starving and that this was abuse. My mother said they'd be home tomorrow to straighten this mess out. They arrived tan, polished, and furious to find my kitchen turned into a command center. CPS, a police officer, Mr. Hughes, Mrs. Johnson, evidence laid out on the granite island, the notebook, the photos, the $20 bagged like a weapon, the zero balance card. My dad laughed it off as ridiculous. My mom insisted she'd left me everything I needed. Then I told them I had it on video that they'd told me not to bother them unless the house was burning down. It was a bluff, but the fear in my mother's eyes confirmed she'd said exactly that. Miss Ramirez announced an emergency removal order, signed by a judge an hour earlier. My father lunged toward me. The officer blocked him. My mother asked only one question through her tears: "What will people think?" I picked up my notebook and told them I'd written it all down. Every meal I skipped, every dizzy spell. "I'm saving myself from you," I said, and walked out without looking back. The court hearing came 3 weeks later. The judge watched my video, my gray face, whispering about bread with green spots, while my father stared at the table, and my mother tried to charm a judge who wasn't buying it. "You have none of the usual excuses," the judge told them. "You have money, you have resources, you simply didn't care." I stood and told my mother that she'd always said actions have consequences. For spilled juice, for a B on a test. "These are your consequences," I said. The judge ordered psychological evaluations, parenting classes, and supervised visitation, at my discretion. My mother offered me Disney World in the hallway outside. I told her I just wanted to go make lasagna with Mrs. Johnson. Living with Mrs. Johnson was strange, because it was normal. When I dropped a plate and braced for yelling, she just swept it up and told me accidents happen. I cried over a broken plate. A therapist helped me understand my parents weren't testing me. They were narcissists who only valued me as a reflection of themselves. At a supervised visit, my parents brought an iPad and a gold necklace, trying to buy back my forgiveness. My mother wrinkled her nose at the stew Mrs. Johnson and I had made together, called it peasant food. I left the necklace on the table and went home to weed the garden with dirt under my nails, feeling more real than I ever had in that big white house. It's been 5 years. I'm 16 now, still living with Mrs. Johnson. My parents eventually stopped fighting the court and moved away. They send checks and birthday cards signed only, "Love, Mom and Dad," no handwriting beneath it. I keep the cards in a box, not on the wall. The wall is for people who stayed. I still have that first video. I used to hate the girl in it, gray-faced, scared. Now I love her because she was the one who picked up the pen, who opened the door for Mr. Hughes, who survived. I've learned forgiveness doesn't mean opening the door again. You can forgive the fire and still never put your hand back in the flame. If you feel invisible in your own house, if you're hungry for more than food, you're allowed to make noise. You're allowed to ask for more than $20 worth of love. Somewhere right now, another kid is standing in a hallway holding a crumpled bill, wondering if they matter. The answer is yes,